Good morning, students. I, Sarita Goyal, your bio teacher, today going to discuss about the chapter 7, which I have already started in my previous lecture. In my previous lecture, I discussed about the working of neuron, right, and reflex action, reflex arc, correct. So today I am going to discuss about the brain. As you all know, the brain, I told you earlier also, brain and spinal cord, they are mainly responsible for the movement of your body. They control the functions of your body. It is the captain of your body. So you should know everything about your brain. Now, what we are going to study today is about human brain and its function. Then parts of the brain, as you know, our brain is divided into three parts: forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. That we are going to discuss in detail, right? And their functions also. And our forebrain is having different types of lobes. You think, you react, you hear, you talk, right? You interact. For all these things, we are having different types of lobes. You revise, you learn your chapter, you keep your memory reason, everything is present in your forebrain. So you are going to study different types of lobes and how your brain is protected. Main important, the very delicate organ, how you are going to protect it. Then how does nervous tissue cause action? That means when you are moving, your muscles contract. What is the reason behind that you are going to do in this chapter, in today's topic. And then I have given you assignment as homework of chapter 6, which consists of 1 mark questions, very short questions, MCQs, as well as assertion and reasoning question. This is for your homework. I am giving you 3 days. Tomorrow is Saturday. By the Wednesday, you have to complete your assignment. Then I am going to discuss the answers, right? This is very much important. This consists of MCQs also. As you know, we are having 20 marks for 1 mark question, right? So practice this. This will be very useful to you, right? So let us start the today's topic, that is about human brain. Now, our next, what is human brain? Human brain is highly complex organ. Clear? It is very delicate organ. It is mainly composed of nervous tissue. Nervous tissue means you are having nerves also, cranial nerves present in your body, which react, and also motor nerves. The tissue are highly folded to accommodate a larger area in less space. That means you can imagine the portion you are getting for brain, and this contains brain, skull, and the brain is situated in the cranium, that is a bony box, and that is connected with thousands of nerves, and these are always all in folded coiled form, right? So apart from this, your brain, as I told you, very delicate, very complex organ. You have to protect. You have to protect from from injuries, damages, right? For that, your brain is covered with three layer systems that I am going to show you how these layers are present, and those layers are called Mennings, right? Mennings means the layer which is above the, which is present above your delicate organ, that is brain, right? And in these layers you will be having a fluid called cerebrospinal fluid. The name of this fluid is not given in your book, so please note down in your book also. I'll let you know afterwards where to write this, right? Cerebrospinal fluid is present between the meninges, and this cerebrospinal fluid, CSF, means cerebrospinal fluid. It provides a cushion, just like if you fall on your cushion at home, गद्दे के ऊपर गिरते हो तो you won't get hurt. It acts as a cushion, right? Similarly, this cerebrospinal fluid, which is present in the membranes, between the membranes, it protects against mechanical shocks, injuries, etc. Right? Then the brain is housed inside the skull. As I told you, the skull is the hard. If you touch your brain, you will feel a hard portion that is called skull, or we can call bony box, that is cranium. Right? In this, your brain is protected. And I told you, as your human brain is divided into three parts, that is forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. So we are going to study these three parts in detail. What is forebrain, where is midbrain, where is hindbrain, and what is the functions of all this, right? What is the function of all this? Clear? So this is the introduction of human brain. Now, if I am talking about function of human brain, what will tell? It is the of course it is housed within the protective covering of the skull, that is a hard portion. Now it is very most complex organs of the body, as I told you. What is the function? It controls thought, behavior, emotions, and memory. That means you know that the all work you are doing. Suppose if you learned how to walk in your childhood, daily your mother won't teach you how to walk, right? If you know how to make the coffee, one cup of tea, that mother told you once, but you can do by yourself afterwards. Why? Because you have stored that in your brain, and when you are going to making tea, you will recall what your mother has told, and you will do that, right? And emotions, that is, you know when to, you will feel according to situations. When it is and situations of happy mood, you will laugh. When it's situation of sad, you will may cry, or you will just keep quiet. So we will all behave here today. Every behavior, whether it is good or bad or taste, it is sour, bitter. So what are all these are the present in our different law. We have already stored this information in our body, in our brain, rather we can say. And when we come across such situations again and again, we recall from our brain. Suppose you have learned something, question answers, right? And when you sit for the exams, so what you will do, you will recall the answers which you have already stored in your brain. Clear? So that is, and it also control your breathing and heart rate. Suppose you will say, man, I have learned all these questions, but I have forgotten. Why you have forgotten? It is just like if you won't forget about TVs, you won't forget about working on mobiles, you won't forget about working of laptops. Why? Because you have learned that interestingly and you have stored properly in your brain. But while learning, if you have interest in your studies, definitely it will be stored in your brain and you won't forget. If you are learning with force, that means only because your mother told you to learn, your teacher told you to learn this question, you are learning for that. That will not store properly and it will goes off. Clear? So remember that when you are doing something, go and do with interest. It will be stored in your brain and you can, whenever you want, you can recall from your brain. Okay? So this is general introductions, the general functions of the brain. Now, next slide, I am coming to the parts of the brain. As I told you, we discussed right now, the brain is divided into three regions, right? One is forebrain. This diagram is given in your book. So I have taken the diagram from your book also. This is the diagram. It is very easy to draw. You can start with this. I will let you know how to draw in my next video. I am going to start with this portion. Right? First you draw this and this. Second, first you are going to draw with midbrain. Then this is the hypothalamus. This is the hypothalamus part. You have to draw this. Then outer layer that consists of pons, medulla, cerebellum. Always start with this. Then you draw this and this part, and then three membranes. Right? I will teach you how to draw. Don't think it is very easy to draw also. You will get in the exam also. So first is forebrain. I am coming to the parts of the brain. This is forebrain. What is that forebrain? This forebrain is the largest part of the brain. Clear? This forebrain is the largest part of the brain, and it is also called, as this name indicates, cerebrum. Right? Clear? And just first I am discussing the parts, then I'll come to the function one by one. So this is cerebrum. Now second one is midbrain, which consists of this hypothalamus part. This is your midbrain. I told you to start the diagram from midbrain. Forebrain you draw afterwards. Right? First midbrain, then hindbrain, then you draw this, then you need not rub while drawing the diagram. It is very easy. Now, this midbrain is composed of hypothalamus. This very much important. This hypothalamus is the master glands even of pituitary gland. We call pituitary glands as a master because it controls the functions of the all the glands. Right? Suppose I'll call pituitary glands as a teacher. Right? And all glands as a student. So this pituitary gland, teachers control the students, right? And principal control the teachers. So here hypothalamus is the principal and pituitary glands is the teacher, and all other glands whichever present in our body, which I'll discuss in my next after on rather next Saturday only. Right? Before that I have to complete plant coordination also. So there I am going to discuss all the glands. All the functions, the glands functions will be controlled by pituitary gland, and pituitary glands will be controlled by hypothalamus. That is a part of the midbrain. Now coming to the hindbrain, it is composed of these three parts. This one is cerebellum, and this one is here it is medulla, and third one is pons. So hindbrain consists of three parts: pons, medulla, and cerebellum. Right? Functions I will discuss later on. So these are the three parts, and this forebrain, as I told you, it is the largest part of the brain, and all the activities which you have learned, right? All the activity that is of tasting, that is of hearing, that is of reacting, that is of looking, seeing, smell, hear, touch, taste, all these reasons you will find in the cerebrum that I am going to show with the help of diagram, though it is not in your book. So these are the three parts: forebrain, which is also known as cerebrum; midbrain, which contains hypothalamus; and hindbrain, it contains three parts: pons, medulla, and oblongata. Now I am coming to the functions one by one. Now I am talking about cerebrum. This is the largest part of the human brain, and it is divided. If you see the diagram, I'll show you the model of this brain in my next class from my lab, right? Or I'll show you in the live class also. So the brain, it consists of two parts, two hemispheres. You can divide into two equal parts, that is called hemispheres. So these are called cerebral hemispheres, right? So this cerebrum can be equally divided into two parts, and each part is called hemisphere. Together we can call it as cerebral hemispheres. Now what are the functions of cerebrum? It controls the voluntary motor actions. So what is that is about your voluntary actions. If you want to walk, you can walk. If you don't want to walk, you can sit. That means control of voluntary organs are under this cerebrum. If you want to speak, you will speak. If you don't want, you don't. Right? If you want to eat, you will eat. Otherwise, no. So all these are voluntary actions. What are involuntary actions? Like blinking of eyes, clear, and internal organs function, beating of heart, that are all involuntary actions. So voluntary actions are controlled by cerebrum. Now it is a site of sensory perceptions like tactile and auditory perceptions. What is this? It is the seat of learning and memory. This already I discussed you. If you see lion coming towards you, so your eye response, right? So that means that I'll call it as occipital lobe. I'll discuss later on. So that is the part, right? And even your memory reason, even your learning reason, even your auditory perceptions. Let me take the first lobes. These are the lobes which are present in your cerebrum. One is frontal lobe, then parietal lobe, occipital lobe, temporal lobe. We have 4 types of lobes which are present in your cerebrum. That means cerebrum is divided into 4 portions. So what is the function of these lobes? Now, whatever you think, whatever you plan, whatever you think of the problem solving, emotions, these are all stored in the frontal lobe, right? Suppose you are planning to go for a picnic, right? And for that you think what to do, when to go, where to go, what to eat, what to enjoy, what sports items you have to take. All these thinking, planning, that will be stored in this part of the forebrain. Clear? Now, this is not in your book. You can see through these slides again and again, and you will come to know what is going in your brain. Your brain is so small, but it consists of large things. That is the captain of your team, and captain has to control everything, right? So, behavior, control. Sometimes you will get angry soon, right? So, all these personality, these are all stored in your frontal lobe. Now coming to the parietal lobe, perception, making sense of the word, arithmetic, spelling. Perceptions means you are feeling, right? You are feeling of heat, cold. You will react according to that, right? Or someone is telling you something, someone is scolding you. So you can sense the world. What sensing of the world means you can feel the world, what is doing, whether it is good or bad to us, right? Suppose your friend is telling something to you, she must be scolding, so you can feel if you are wrong, what you will do, you will fight, right? You will get angry. So these are the perceptions. Now coming to the occipital lobe, that is vision. Every day your mother will not tell this is the lion, this is a tiger, this is the snake, right? So you can recognize. Why? Because once you see the things at first time, that image will be stored in your brain, and when you see it again, you will recall and you will come to know this is snake, this is lion, right? Next is temporal lobe, right? Temporal lobe means memory, understanding, language. Whatever you are learning, right, you store in your brain. So this is the real part. Clear? In this part you are going to store whatever you learn, whatever you react, everything you are going to store, whatever you see. So whatever you want to remember for further, we are going to store in this temporal lobes. So these kinds of 4 lobes we are having. Now these here you can see the sensory cortex sensation. This help us to feel, right? Right? This is motor cortex movement, that helps you to movement according to the behavior, right? This brain, whenever see snake coming to the, it gives the order to the motor area. So this is a motor cortex layer. So this is all about types of lobes, though it is not present in your book, but I have taught you because you should know what is there in your brain. So these are all the parts of your forebrain. Clear? Clear? These are all the parts of the forebrain, different lobes of the forebrain. Clear? Now, coming to the, so what is the function of cerebrum? All these, what I told about occipital lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe, olfactory lobe. Olfactory means smell. Olfactory, as I told you, olfactory gustator in my previous lecture also. Gustatory for what? Smell, right? So all these comes under sensory perceptions. So the auditory means whatever you are hearing. So this cerebrum, it stored all the information, and it is the largest part of the brain. It helps in your controlling your all voluntary actions. So this is all about cerebrum. Next is hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is the part of midbrain, right? So it lies below at the base of cerebrum. Cerebrum is the forebrain. First part is forebrain, that is cerebrum. Below cerebrum you will get midbrain, and midbrain consists of hypothalamus. What does it do? It controls sleep and wake cycle, right? This is very much important. So that means we can say it is involuntary action, right? It controls involuntary actions, that is circadian rhythm. It controls your sleep. It will help us to wake up by itself, otherwise we'll sleep like Kumbhkarna, right? So this is hypothalamus is the where it is present. It is present as the base of the cerebellum. It also control the urge for eating and drinking. भूख लगना, प्यास लगना, right? Everything this function is controlled by your midbrain. On the whole, you can say it controls your involuntary actions. Now, coming to the cerebellum, it lies below the cerebrum, right? It lies below the cerebrum and at the back of the whole structure. At the back of the, that is below, you can say hypothalamus part also, right? So it is the at the back of the whole structure you can see in your brain. Forebrain is the upper part, midbrain is somewhere in between, and then hindbrain. Hindbrain consists of three parts, that is medulla, cerebellum, and third one is pons. So this cerebellum is the part of the hindbrain, right? It coordinates the motor functions, right? What is that? Involuntary. Suppose when you are riding a bicycle, the perfect coordination between your pedaling and steering control is achieved by the cerebellum. That means it helps us to balancing, right? It helps us to balancing. Clear? So best example is given, right? You have to control yourself by riding your bicycle. So there should be coordination between your muscles and your steering control, that is legs and hands both. So these actions are controlled by cerebellum. Now coming to the medulla, it also controls your what involuntary actions like your reflex actions, heartbeat, respiration, sneezing. छींक आ जाती है, रिफ्लेक्स एक्शन है, अपने आप होता है. That sneezing, it is controlled by medulla. Vomiting, it is of course involuntary action. कोई जान के उल्टी नहीं करता है ना? तो अब जब आती है, we can't control it. So these all functions controlled by the medulla. And this respiration is given here. This respiration is controlled by pons. Pons control the respiratory activities. The function of pons is not given in your book, so you can write the function of pons is it controls respiratory activity. Students, please write whatever I am saying. I am saying examination point of view. Clear? So in exam there will be separate question. Write the function of pons. So pons will control the respiratory activities, and other functions are controlled by medulla, right? So medulla also control involuntary actions. Clear? That means hindbrain is controlling all your involuntary actions. Clear? So next is, this is the brain. Again I have shown you the diagram. Here you can see there the functions is written. This is the cerebrum. It is mainly play key role in the cognitive, that is thinking process, such as conscious thoughts, problem solving, decision making, memory, language and learning, right? This I have already explained you. Because it is written in the diagram, I want you to draw the diagram like this, and I want you to label the parts and write the function there itself. That is why I am giving this diagram, right? Now this is the brainstem. This brainstem consists of pons, medulla, right? It regulates heartbeat, breathing and blood pressure. All the involuntary actions are controlled by medulla, right? And for pons you have to write, they control the breathing rate. This is the spinal cord which protects under the vertebral column, and it helps us to control the reflex action and balancing the body, right? This is very much important part of your body. If it get damaged, you will suffer a problem called paralysis, right? So always whenever you fall, you have to protect this region. This region cannot is very much, if it get damaged, it will be severe, it will be fatal for you, right? Suppose if you lost have some problem in this forebrain, if you have some clotting in this forebrain, this can be corrected, but it will take time, but this can be cured, right? But if you get the damage this hind portion or mid portion, it will be very problem, because it is balancing your body. Main function is it is balancing your body, it is controlling your heartbeat, it is controlling your breathing rate. So this part of the brain is very much important. Now I have given here function of cerebrum, responsible for balance. I told you coordinates movement. Paralysis में क्या होता है, आपकी बॉडी पैर कहीं रखते हो, जाता कहीं है. So it controls movement. and has a role in speech, whatever you are speaking, language, and memory and learning. So with the help of this diagram, you can learn this function, though I have written there also. So I want you to write in your notebook also all the function of this brain, parts of the brain. Right? These lobes I have discussed. My next topic is how are these tissue protected? Now it is very important. Your brain is so delicate. It is very much important. It is a captain of your body. So it have to be protected. Right? As I told you, outer layer of the brain consists of three layers. Right? It consists of three layers, 1, 2, and 3. These three layers, that is here it is written. This is the outer skin, then peristomium, then peristeal, and meningeal. Right? This is also called dura mater. Right? Subarachnoid. Right? And here you are having space, and then you are this main part of the brain is there. Now this are the three layers. This you can see in the brain. Here it is shown. Right? These three layers are called meninges. Cross section of skull. Skull means this is the skull. Right? This is the skull, and skull you are having three layers of membrane, which is filled with the cerebrospinal fluid. Right? Clear? This is filled with the cerebrospinal fluid, and this cerebrospinal fluid acts as a cushion. Right? Clear? And this right, and protect from injuries. राइट, फ्रॉम मैकेनिकल शॉक्स. जब हम गिर जाते हैं, कई बार हमारा सिर जमीन पे कितनी बार लग जाता है, हमारे सिर को कुछ नहीं होता, बिकॉज ऑफ दिस पेरिब्रोस्पाइनल फ्लूइड विच इज प्रेजेंट इन बिटवीन द स्पेस ऑफ दिस थ्री लेयर्स. क्लियर? आई हैव शोन यू थ्री लेयर्स इन डिटेल इन द डायग्राम. Right? This is not in your book, but only for your knowledge, you should know. Right? So what is this? Let me read this. The brain is the best protective organ in the body. It has multiple layers of protection, starting with the first layer of protection being, that is the skull or cranium. सबसे पहला क्या है? Hard structure, that is called cranium. Right? Which acts as the armor shielding the brain from blows. जो कि एक छत का काम करता है, आपको धक्के से बचाता है. The next layer of protection is meninges, which has three membranes. So first is, this is the skin. After this you are having these three layers, and in these three layers you are having space, and which is surrounds the brain and the spinal cord, which also protect your spinal cord from this side. Now here your spinal cord will come, right, damaged by contact with the inside of the skull. The final layer of the protection is the cerebrospinal fluid that the brain and spinal cord basically float in. So this cerebrospinal fluid is floating in your brain. Clear? So this is how your tissues get protected. Last topic of this today's is how does nervous tissue cause actions. So whenever you move, right, as I told you, there is control and coordination between your body. So there is a great coordination between your muscles and brain, right? Suppose if you prick by spine or any pin, what will happen? You will contract your muscles. But how your muscles will be contracted? That you should know, right? So I have written main points. That is, first is impulse. So movement of animal muscles. How you will move? By getting impulse, that is message. If you are getting message that your head touched the hot vessel, then you bend your hands, right, your muscles contract. So whenever you are getting impulse through neuron, right, now you should know the action of neuron. I told you in my previous lecture, neuron, when it gets the message, it gives to the second neuron, second to third, and it reaches to your spinal cord. So this message is going to a spinal cord, and spinal cord is giving the order by the motor. So first by impulse, then movement of muscle cells. When the message comes, it gives the message to your muscle cells, and it move. How it move? By changing their shape. So your muscle cell change. I will show you in the diagram how your muscle cell change. They contract, right? When the message comes, they get contract. क्योंकि पास जब nerves आएंगी, bones आएंगी, muscles आएंगी, तभी contract होगा. Because muscles and bones are connected to each other. right? This is the contraction of muscle fiber. I'll show you the difference between contraction and relaxation in my this here. Muscles contraction begins when the nervous system generates a signal through neuron, right? Through neuron, the message goes to the nervous system, that is your spinal cord, right? The signal is in electrical signals, right? It an impulse called an action potential. Action potential means when it receives the signals, your muscle cells, your motor nerves, they become inactive, right? Travels through a type of nerve that is called neuron, right? The action, when you receive the message from your sense organs to the spinal cord, the spinal cord become active and it sends the message through motor neuron. The neuromuscular junction is the name of the place where the motor neuron reaches the muscle cell. Now this motor neuron, they take the message and come to the muscle cells where you are having neuromuscular junction. That is junction between now neuron and bones, right? Muscles. We can call it a muscles. You have already learned in your ninth class, there are three types of muscles: striated, unstriated and cardiac muscles, right? Remember the difference between striated, unstriated and cardiac muscles. In the morning, I am going to send this video early in the morning. Go through there. I will ask you the difference between all the three types of muscles, right? When the nervous system signals reaches the neuromuscular junction, that means this is the junction, right? Right here it is a junction. A chemical message is released, as I told you, in the nerve ending. The message comes as a chemical, right? Through dendrite, it comes as electrical signals, but when it reaches to the nerve ending, it converts into the chemical. So when this chemical signals is released to the muscles, right? The chemical message, a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. So that chemical signal, right, that hormones, that is called acetylcholine. It binds, ये bind करता है. This is the muscle, right? In detail, you are going to study in class 1, right? This is called sarcomere. In detail, you are going to study in class 1 when you are taking your bio subject. So they release as a acetylcholine as a chemical messenger which binds the muscle fiber, जो कि muscle fibers को पास पास लेके आता है, right? And causes contractions, right? I'll show you the relaxation also. Now when this message over, what happened? When the action taken place, now again this chemical message stops, right? So there again these muscles relax. So this is the relaxation of muscles. I will show you both the diagrams together. See here. You can see the difference between these two diagrams, right? Here you can see the sarcomere, right? They come nearer. Clear? So this is the diagram of relaxing muscles and this is the diagram of contraction. So here muscles they are one above the other, just like sliding door. The muscles come one above the other. So you can see here and you can see the difference in the diagram, right? This is muscle fiber. Now it is this is your arm. Clear? Right? So this starts contracting like this. So this is about contraction and relaxation. In detail, I have not taken this process because it is not in your syllabus. It is in your +1, right? So it is just your muscle fibers acts as a sliding door. When it contracts, it comes one above the other, and when it relaxes, again it goes. Just like when you are closing, it comes one above the another, and when you are opening, it gets when we are opening, it comes one above the other, and when you are closing, it separates. So this is about contraction and relaxation of muscles. So I am coming to the slide back again. Now you have come to know how the shapes change, right? Now what causes that contraction and relaxation? There are different types of proteins in your body, right? Near about 5 types of proteins in your body, and each protein is responsible for a particular function, right? Just like organs. So These muscles, they change the shape by contracting due to the contractile proteins. This contractile protein is released. It gives the information to change the shape of the muscles by contracting. When this contractile protein is released, they give the message to your muscle cell in changing the shape. And when the shape is changed, your muscles become shortened. And after shorten, when your action is over, again it get stretched. Clear? So this is how do these tissue cause actions. Any problems, you can ask me tomorrow. So with this I have completed the topic that is about brain. So what we have discussed, let us recall. I have discussed first what is brain, what is its general functions. Then I have discussed about parts of the brain. This is general function, this is part of the brain. I have discussed all the three parts. Then functions of all the three parts of the brain. Then I have given you the diagram where the functions is written. Then I have discussed you the lobes which are present in our forebrain and what activities do they control, right? Then I have discussed how your brain is protected. Then last is what causes action. That is when you are moving, when you are pulling your hands back, your muscles contract due to contractile protein. Again, I am telling this protein will give you the all the information. So contraction of muscles is just like the function of sliding doors, right? Clear? So this is all about your brain. And go through the, I'll send tomorrow in the early in the morning. Sorry, today early because I'm making one day before, so that's why I'm telling you tomorrow. Today you tomorrow early in the morning you'll get this video, right? And you're going to go through this video and collect your doubts so that I can differentiate. I can solve your problems. Now, next is this I already told you. So I'm giving you one assignment that consists of very short questions, MCQs, and assertion and reasoning of chapter 6, that is life process. So okay, this week I'm not going to give you any question answers. You are going to solve the assignment. Clear? If you are having any doubts regarding anything, you can discuss with me in live class tomorrow at today at that is 12:10 p.m. we are going to take the live class at MST. Clear? So goodbye, stay home, be healthy, do your work properly.